What I've watched for August 2017. Hi, how are you? It's great to see you. I'm RazMansReality, here to alter your reality on film, TV, and comics. So if this is your first time here, and that is your passion too, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification icon so that you don't miss anything. I also have a quick announcement that I want to make, so I'm going to get that out of the way first. You may have already picked up on it, but due to the amount of work that is going into Mack Mondays with the Secret World of Alex Mack breakdowns, I've discovered that in order to properly do it for me right now with my current equipment situation, it's a 2-day process because you have to take the photos from the episodes you're breaking down, then you have to crop them to get the black bars out of the sides, and then correctly recrop them to 16:9 widescreen so they don't look distorted. So that takes a couple hours out of your day every time you go to do one. And then there's the actual filming and editing of the episodes, all to make sure that they get up every Monday until they're done. So for the foreseeable future, with Mack Mondays being a thing, I am not going to try to put up a Sunday video. So what you're going to have is a consistent 3 days a week on the channel. You're going to have a Monday video, a Wednesday video, and a Friday video. So just a heads up there so that you don't think I've dropped off or gone anywhere. I'm just going to go with a 3 video per week schedule because that's what I'm capable of doing right now with the amount of work that's going into one particular series. So with that out of the way, here is what I've watched for August 2017. Now, there's a lot here. I watched a lot this month, and that also made me think, should I, in fact, be doing this at the end of every week instead of the end of every month? Should this be like the regular Friday video, and Wednesday will just be the open video for other reviews or other series or things that I want to do? So if you like that idea, let me know that in the comment section down below as well. And of course, as always, let me know if you've watched any of these recently. So first up is the obvious one, of course, The Secret World of Alex Mack. Powered through this in 5 days as soon as I got it. Just an absolute joy to relive, and I enjoyed reliving it so much, and I enjoyed the feedback that I got about it being on DVD and people talking about it in the comment section so much that we are now doing Mack Mondays and reliving every episode right here on RazMansReality. Next up, courtesy of BritBox, I finished the first Doctor's Era. That's right, I watched every episode available on DVD, I believe, which is what BritBox is using, of the William Hartnell era. Such a joy to experience for the first time. There is a plan to do a Whovian experiencing classic Who for the first time series of videos on this channel. I don't want to put a start date behind it though, because I don't really know the most effective way to do that, because there's no way to capture images from a streaming service unless you do it through the computer, and that can sometimes get a little bit complicated doing it frame by frame. So it just might be a matter of looking up the name of each episode from each of the ones that I'm able to see, and then getting random photos from it and just talking about it as best I can. But once I figure that out, it is definitely something I'm going to do, so stay tuned for that. Next up, I finally got around to seeing a DC animated movie that I own that I actually hadn't got a chance to watch yet, and that, of course, is Batman Bad Blood. Now, there isn't a whole lot I can say about this because it's a very intense story, but what I will say is that this is not the kind of movie that you can figure out it goes from one direction to another, and those are the best kind of films, because if a film is predictable, it can sometimes bar on the boring side. So this was definitely not the case, so thank you, Scott, once again for that one. That is Batman Bad Blood. Next up, we have 2 from the latest Blu-ray update that I shared with you. So finally got around to rewatching the Lego Batman movie, and yes, this sticker left horrible residue on the slipcover. It is unfortunate. Goopy, I ran out of it, and it just is the way it is right now. Eventually, I hope to have a not quite so sticky version of the slipcover, but those stickers drive me crazy, and I cannot leave them on my slipcovers. I'm just a bit crazy like that, so yeah. Anyway, if you haven't seen this, what can I say about it other than it encapsulates every single era of Batman that there's ever been, and does it in such a funny and unique way. And if you're not laughing at this film, then you don't know how to laugh, just to pure joy. So definitely see the Lego Batman movie if you haven't already seen it. Holy calamity, Batman, we're back. That's right, I finally got around to watching on Blu-ray The Return of the Cape Crusaders. As I mentioned when I wanted to pick this up after the loss of Adam West, I have seen this, but I hadn't seen it since owning it, so I rewatched it again, and just as fun as the first time I saw it. It just feels like an episode of that show, an episode from that universe all these years later. Adam West and Burt Ward, sure, they sound older, but the characters at their core are still there. It was also, of course, great to have Julie Newmar reprising her role as Catwoman, and all the other sound-alikes did a really good job as well. So if you're a fan of the 60s era of Batman, you cannot go wrong with this. Such a joy. I cannot wait to have the announcement of the finished movie that was done as a sequel to this, with William Shatner as Mr. Freeze and Adam's actual final role as the Cape Crusader. So as soon as that becomes a thing, I will pick it up without question, because I enjoyed the heck out of this. I'm not going to talk about the story or the plotline, because it's something you need to experience for yourself for the first time, because it's just so over the top and crazy. And finally, we have one of my all-time favorite shows, Friends. I've had this Blu-ray set for about 3 years now, and Friends keeps getting put back on the back burner because I feel like I remember it well enough that it's not necessary to put off other shows that I want to watch. However, I do want to actually truly give this a full-on rewatch, which is something I've never done. I specifically waited to own it to do that. I even avoided streaming the show on Netflix. So I'm currently on season 3 of this, and the plan is, as much as possible around stuff like The Flash and Rick and Morty that I have to keep up with, and Classic Who, because when you get in the mood for Doctor Who, you get in the mood for Doctor Who. But the plan is, other than that, to go full bore with this and to get this done by the end of 2017, which doesn't give me much time because we're already in September. So it'll probably bleed a little bit into 2018, but by no later than like February 2018, I want to have this done. I want to go full bore with this, so you'll probably see this in what I've watched this for the next big long while, and then I'll just tell you where I'm at and maybe talk about specific episodes of the series. If you haven't already subscribed, you can do so right now by hitting the round subscribe icon to my left. Check out my latest Doctor Who theory and support RazMansReality on Patreon. And as always, this has been your RazMansReality check.